Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DBDLeague. It is Severance versus Infinity. Infinity on the survivor side first with the normal spirit, not the Halloween just yet. And Infinity forgot their toolbox. Well, that's not a balance offense if these players think that they are so strong that they need to basically be nerfed, then this is showing us a lot of confidence. But there will also not be a restart granted to equip the toolbox. That's their responsibility, so they have to somehow fight without this additional item that they could bring. Daimao taking a very quick injury, and unfortunately the pallet is on the other side, meaning that we are talking about some sort of two-tap here. Very great start for Ward, who by the way, in the previous week, clutched it for Team Severance multiple times on the killer. But the first team striking is Infinity. And not only that, they're also having a For the People. Now, you might ask yourself, why is Doc going into the For the People and taking the down voluntarily? Well, sometimes there's a survivor that you really want to protect. For example, the Deliverance survivor, the Unbreakable survivor, or someone who carries a specific item. So let's see what the plan was here for Team Infinity. Doc now in the basement. We have seen earlier in the game Rapture and Eunoia how punishing this basement on the Wrecker's Yard can be. Of course, the Spirit has a harder time defending it because there's no chainsaw, but it might be punishing for Infinity nonetheless.
Yeah, look at the build. We have Eruption being applied on these gens and Pain Res in play as well. So good regression. An early basement hook though can prove quite fatal sometimes in these games. As you see, Doc there being blocked off. No Shack pallet to use, and unfortunately that is going to be a quick down. And Eruption popping on two of those gens. And you notice there we see the Blood Favor in play. Oh, nice decisive strike from Doc, prolonging this chase a bit more. See the Blood Favor in play. Running away from the area, so not going to be affecting the chase right now. Good time save there with the decisive strike as he tries to connect with that second down again. You hear the kit burn this pallet, and looks like he does have enough distance to potentially get the swing. Unfortunately, fake out not going to be working, and we should see a down. Dead hard, not unfortunately, not going to be working, and yep, that is going to be second hook onto Ward. Two gens pop in the distance, and Ward, Doc will have spotted out that Blood Favor, so I imagine we'll be calling it to his team. Those anti-tunnel perks coming in clutch there for Doc to prolong that chase a bit more. Not ideal to be tunneling out the anti-tunnel survivor, but fortunately working in the favor of the Infinity survivors. Ward playing quite well. Ward's been a very strong killer throughout this tournament for Team Severance. Team Severance last week taking Eternal to Game 6. Really strong showing. So I have high hopes for them in this match. As we wander over here trying to find another survivor, and pallets drop, that's going to confirm that Daimo is here. But opting to phase back, securing an injury instead. And the unhook is coming through. It's going to be Karma unhooking and progressing the elimination of the first survivor here, as Doc is going to be chased around Shack. Nice pallet drop there. Unfortunately on the wrong side. That is going to be a very quick down onto Doc. Going to be securing the first kill of the game. 3 gens remaining. I think that is quite a dire situation, would you say?
That is indeed a difficult situation, losing Doc so quickly. I mean, how are they going to heal now without having a Doc in the team? That's going to be tricky when we are talking about the reset. Or was it just bad karma that the survivors received there? Well, we will see. Maybe this Holy Ward can make something work for the team. Severance so far really looking strong. And once again, the reminder, ladies and gentlemen, Ward has clutched it multiple times so far in AHL, being an absolute rock when we are talking about the killer side. And it seems like Infinity having difficulties with this huge and impressive skill here as well. Once again, back to basement. Difficult to take the teammate out of there. At least very often it's ending in some sort of trade, which the killer is gladly taking, as it increases not only the hook counter but also the individual survivors that are getting hooked across the map. Now we are having the walk over towards the generator here, trying to cause a little bit of a setback with the eruption as well. Perfect timing by Ward, coming back when the survivors are just about to walk out of the basement. Body blocking, working out pretty good here. Window not going to work out. 2 survivors injured, and if he's making a confident teleport here, or a confident face after this survivor, he might be able to go for a very quick rehook. Though Infinity fighting super impressive. Generator number 4 coming out.
Yeah, very, very nice. Finding the down onto Karma. Injury secured on Dymo, and being able to survive it. Serial. Second stage, progressing the elimination of the second survivor. 1 gen remaining. As you said, really good gen progression from Infinity against this Spirit. That was the second stack of pain res applied, so a gen would have exploded in the distance. And of course, still has those 2 stacks to play with to slow down that last generator. We will see. Just checking behind here in the area. Wants to see if he can spot an unhooker. And I do wonder where those survivors are currently. Maybe projecting the last generator, maybe looking for the unhook. But Ward smells something is up and is heading over to this gen here. You see Dymo, the injured survivor, working, and nice communication there for Nia to get the unhook as Ward does come over here. Of course, they were hooked outside of the area of the gens. It's going to take a while for them to make it over to that area. Eruption applied on that gen in the distance, and they opted to reset on hook. Slowing down the pressure with the Spirit. And dare I say, quite a small area of the last 3 gens. So I feel like Ward will be able to defend this. Has a hook deep in that side of the map as well. So very, very strong. Karma, nice dodging out on that phase. Confusing Ward. The deli coming through onto Dymo. Very strong, and he's going to want this down to come pretty quickly because they are in the area of those gens. Is he going to commit this? No, he is going to go back to that area. Probably suspects the Nia is on that gen, trying to get it done. That is the most progression on the map so far. You see them, no regression. They have worked on it. Someone is in this area, opting to defend the gens instead of committing those chases. He does ideally want these chases to come fast, but the survivor's doing really well to deny the downs. And he finds Karma again, the injured ace on this filler Kyle. Mind gaming really well. Does he opt to break it? No. Wants to phase around. And will he make it to this next loop? Really good piping from Karma there to avoid the phase. And he's in the corner of the map, wasting as much time as possible. You hear a scream off in the distance. That is Serial working on that gen. Eruption applied. And pain res already used on Karma. So, and there's Karma dead. 2 survivors dead. 1 gen remaining. This looks pretty good, I would say, for Ward to secure the 4K1.
Absolutely. Ward striking again, basically, we could say here.
Yep. I was going to say, looking good to secure the 4K1, but they doing the gen in this face. Really well played to get that 5th gen done. And I don't believe it looks good for them to escape. So looking like a 4K at 0 gens remaining. Good result, I would say, for Infinity.
Yeah, you have a reason to be pretty proud of yourself. We have seen a lot of games in the past where the Spirit is just walking in, kind of slandering these survivor teams left and right, and this is not happening right here. Of course, yeah, it would always be nicer if you are able to take some stages out of the door, but forcing your opponent into getting the stage out of the door and having it in the back pocket, our killer can go for the end game speed run is pretty nice. So let's see if Infinity is able to come back with a strong Spirit as well. Are they able to even go for a 4K with 1 gen remaining, at least getting the speed run for a tie, or will Ward carry the survivor team of Severance through all the gens and also taking a stage out of the door? This is the question, and we will answer it in a few minutes after the break.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wreckers Yard. We have a Doc on the Spirit playing for Infinity against Severance's survivors. To win they need 5 gen, well, to win they need 1 survivor out basically, and to secure the tie they need all 5 gens completed. Dare I say very doable. First chase onto Ward. Ward, we just saw an impressive performance on the Spirit for Severance. He has been doing very well on Survivor 2. Definitely a player to watch out for as the fun bus chase starts, and the first hit is secured. And we hear a Hex Totem cleansed in the distance, and that is going to be Blood Favor. Very unfortunate. Blood Favor used quite a lot this tournament, and is very strong. And it is a bit of a risk, to be honest, because if that Hex Totem is cleansed, then you do not have that available to you for the rest of the trial. And yeah, unfortunately, they're doing very well to cleanse that. And this first chase is very well 1 gen done through the Corrupt, and is going to go down to Doc. So first early hook, 1 gen done, good progression on the den so far, and a good chase by Ward. And we're going to see if this is a Scourge hook here to secure regression on one of those generators. Flat 20% applied. And Doc gonna scout towards the shack area to see if he can spot a second survivor. And doing well so far. Good early start, but also very good progression on the generators by Severance survivors.
Yeah, Ward with an impressive start here after playing a good Spirit himself. He's making sure that the first down comes in exchange for the first full repaired generator. Great start always when you're going against these strong killers and you're getting 1 for 1. Basically, Doc trying to get Ward out of the way and out of the trial as quick as possible, trying to buddy block here a little bit, wasted 1 or 2 seconds from the survivor, but Ward makes it over towards the pallet. Nice fake, and then even getting the distance in. Very well played here. Doc struggling to catch Ward. He's showed off on the killer side, and now on the survivor side as well. Double vault coming in and being successful with that. So strong what we are seeing right here. So good, and making distance even again into the second generator being completed. Next pallet, Ward unfortunately this time on the mind game not successful, therefore it's going to be the rehook right here. But second hook stage for 2 gens, definitely all looking good for Team Severance here. Infinity is struggling a little bit on the killer side. They will need some additional injuries. This is also something that we don't have yet on the Spirit here. Usually you're trying to keep at least 1 additional survivor injured, so the tracking during the phase is a little bit easier, but it seems like Severance really doesn't want to allow that. We also don't see any other survivors, so they're perfectly communicating where the chase is taking place, and wherever the currently chased survivor is moving, there's either no one working at the moment, so absolute perfect coordination there. And even if we're running close, either the generator is done in time or they are pulling back. So there's no chaos, no chance to go for multiple injuries. And I'm not even sure if Severance would worry if Ward is going to die here, yet they are going to take the trade as they want to add some extra time. Ward running away, Cartney on the hook, and I think this is the dream for Team Severance, now also making sure that Ward cannot be tunneled out of the trial. So 4 survivors staying in, able to work on the gens. This is going absolutely perfect here.
Yeah, the chase is everything. The communication, it's all going really, really well. Able to avoid Doc and get the progression that they need to secure the tie condition, at the very least. And perfectly protecting the survivor that they need to. As we see a survivor enjoying this pallet, vaulting over it. And it is going to be Ward getting in the face of Doc, saying, "I'm over here, come get me." As he lands the first tag, going to run into the shack. Play this filler tile actually on the side. Relatively strong tile to play. And he holds W away. Nice mind games. Ward really playing this game well. And holds W, and honestly has got so many mind game wins on that tile there, doing really, really well, buying enough time for his teammates, and Doc is not able to secure that M1 and get that down for the first kill. Oh, as I say that, 14 guys. The Pokos hit over the window, very, very good, and opts to slug for a second to try and check on these gens. Doesn't hear the progression, and yeah, is going to get Ward out of this game. Strong performance, and there is 1 generator remaining for the Severance survivors. So looking good to secure the tie condition at the very least. And as he gets this hook onto Ward, don't believe has information on what gen they're working on. It's going to be those 2 far ones, I believe. So he's going to go into the same. You see this gen quite far progressed. Applying Eruption and see some scratch marks over to the broken truck. As he tries to gather information on the rest of the survivors. Chase on to Cartney here. Spotted out Henu there in the middle of the map. Looking like they're working shack as well. And for Doc here, he is going to need some quick chases. And unfortunately, a pallet stun is not going to help him do that. Fun bus going to be used, but is taking the killer away from these gens. The communication consistently throughout the game has been really good. And they are aware of this gen, and are they working on it? And we see the regression has stopped, so there is a survivor in this area. Doc needs to really manage the positions of these survivors well. If he's going to secure the 4K1, but it looks as if the pacing of the game is going in the side of Severance. We see Henry here potentially trying to protect Cartney. Missing the swing there, unfortunate. Good pathing from the survivor. He continues around Funbus. Again in the corner of the map where the gens are not here. So Alos potentially working on that last gen whilst these 2 survivors are distracting. Really well played, and it seems that Severance have a game plan in mind.
Yeah, slowly but steady, we need to get a little bit worried, because as quick as it looked like earlier when we started this trial, the more and more slower it's getting now, as Doc has really found the pressure and dominance across the wrecker's yard here. 2 survivors injured, so it's also going to be the needed discussion on the survivor side. Do we want to pull back potentially? Do we want to get all the survivors back to healthy? Seems like Cartney and Henu are resetting in the distance, and important would be that in the meanwhile, while this reset is happening, there's no survivor going down. Therefore, Alos here with the responsibility to make sure that it's not going to be too quickly. Doc needs a second phase onto Ada. So far it wasn't successful. No pallet in reach. Yet a little bit of confusion. Eruption coming in the distance. Hanno being healed as well. So we are back on 2 healthy survivors, which certainly brings back some pressure from the survivor side. They are now able to work on the generators without taking too much risk, but I think Severance was expecting a little bit of an easier trial here. That Doc is coming back so strong and with such a control over the generators was certainly not something they were expecting. Hallows instantly being rescued in the distance as the killer is now circling across the 3 remaining survivors. So you want to have Hallows back in the game as quick as possible. Ace taking a hit very far away from the 3 active generators. So Doc might want to consider going back here, so the 2 survivors cannot go for a double up and getting it in time. But it reminds me a little bit about the Ghostface trial that we have seen earlier between Rapture and Eunoia. Whoever is making this next famous mistake is potentially going to take the loss here in this set. Either survivors trying to be too greedy on the gens, thinking they have enough time and resources to commit, or Doc making a mistake with the calculations and chasing one survivor for too long, trying to get the next injury, not successful, as the survivors are pulling the killer constantly away from the active generators. Perfectly how they are doing this here. Game is going to slow down tremendously now. Only a few percent are going to be in the generators from time to time, but whoever has nerves of steel is basically coming out on top.
Yeah, as the survivors have fully reset, switching from the broken truck gen as the gen at the bottom of the map, which is now the most progressed. So essentially chasing in that same area as before, further away Doc is. So they are playing this in the most optimized way as they can, which is really good. Pallet drop going to be on that tile, and it is going to be Henu. We see 1 stack of pain res left, allowing Doc to get another 20% on a gen. And as these chases go on, there's more time. Of course, there's no progression really on that Shack gen, I don't think. So we'll just see how Henu plays this, doing really well, but doesn't want to commit, knowing he's going to be taken on a tour across the map away from these gens. And they are pushing all 3 gens at the minute. So it's getting harder and harder for Doc to manage this. Gets the health state onto Hallows, which is really nice, and Cartney is the last remaining healthy survivor. And we'll apply Eruption, and yeah, we're essentially playing a tug of war, as you said, Dyer. The first person to crumble is the one who makes the next mistake. But they're playing it very, very well. Checking around in this area, sees a reset come through onto Henu and Hallows. Do wonder if that was a triple reset away from the gens, but Doc just has to essentially maintain this area and just see if he can catch someone lacking a little bit. Eruption now on 2 of the gens, 2 gens that he's seen with progress. Ideal for him would be to get this last pain res stack to help him further combat this pressure, but they're doing very, very well.
Indeed, both sides deserve some compliment here. At the very beginning, Doc looking like he's losing the generators a bit too quickly, now able to keep it under control, and so are these survivors constantly going for these resets. This might be an important change though, with Hallows going down so quickly here. This might be difficult now for the 2 survivors. They are working in the shack, not able to go for it. Now have to move away. They have to split up as soon as they can, so Doc is not able to down 1 survivor, and then seeing the location of the other one. Hallows in the distance, believe there was the Unbreakable there being picked up already. Henu trying to run Doc as long as possible, but with no pallet, no window, it's going to be a very quick injury that is coming out, and Doc didn't forget about the shack generator here, around about the 70% mark, now back to 65. Survivors could try to keep triggering the kicks by Doc until eventually the anti-regression mechanic is coming in after a killer has kicked the generator 8 times. There is no further regression possible, and then basically deciding that it's time to strike. But to achieve that all the way into 8 kicks, you will need a lot more successful resets, and that requires a lot of coordination, which of course also can lead to some mistakes. But the other generator was not protected well by Doc and is being completed just now into the end game. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, if Severance is taking any hook stage out of the door, even the hatch would count here as they got all the gens done, then we are going to see the successful set point taken for set number 1. And there it is, from a long time fight, the Killer of Infinity doing such a good job, to almost an instant loss when the final generator eventually came out. That is pretty rough to handle and definitely very unfortunate for Team Infinity, but I feel like after Ward has shown such a nice killer performance in Trial 1, Severance was definitely in the little bit of a more dominant position here.
Yep, really well played. Very, very strong start to the early game there for Severance, which ultimately contributed to the rest of the game, but Doc brought it back. Unfortunately not able to get the win there, and we are going to be moving on to the next set after a short break.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with half oak stage penalty for Doc, and 1 perk is being thrown out. You would think if you're handing in your builds early, then it cannot happen that there is the wrong build, right? But sometimes our players are getting a little bit nervous, and then they are putting in a build that they used in the last scrim or for practice, or just misclick, and then unfortunately they are having a mistake, being punished with half oak stage penalty, the rule offending perk being taken out. I explained why we cannot allow this system with 4 perks again, as it would allow kind of the option for a placeholder. Then you can take half a hook stage penalty and then swap in a know it if you really need to have it based on the win condition and take ultimately an advantage. And the survivors, however, on the side of Severance, they can switch their builds around, so the killer does not know who has the deliverance, who has the decisive strike. We were seeing a difficult start on the side of Severance in the previous trial. Then we came to the restart. We're saying this is potentially the chance to have a better attempt, though it looks like Doc is really smelling blood in the water here.
Yeah, just as quick as a down as the first time. Doing really well, Doc, to get that first thing. We spotted out Survivor's aura reading because of that Undying. Very unluckily, they managed to be spotted out by that ult totem in the aura reading. And he's found Cartney, edge of the map, and that is going to be a trade. Looking to tunnel out Henu here to secure the 3 survivors remaining in the trial. And oh wow, just failing on that second blink there, and Henu's able to get the pallet stun. Running over here to this structure as he tries to delay the chase even further. Cartney currently on the ground, off by main building. And Henu pathing really, really nicely to avoid the blinks. And we'll see how much longer he can last. And he gets another... Oh, what was that? Blinked on top of Henu, unfortunately, as he was pulling the planet, and instead got plus 10 wood instead of plus 1 down. Unfortunate. And playing this edge map really nicely. And he is eventually going to go down. Wasting a lot of time. 1 gen popped off in the distance. And that's going to be a second stage onto Henu. As Cartney gets picked up off there in the distance.
Second hook stage onto Henu now, trying to get 1 survivor out of the game as quick as possible. Seems to work so far, yet 2 gens for 2 hook stages. Not really the most ideal what you are expecting as the nurse player, and especially when it's your set while you're 1 set point down in this best of 5. Ward coming in, going for the unhook onto Henu, and we see the for the people, so the same strategy as we have seen in the previous trial from Severance, trying to make sure that the tunnel target is not going to be an immediate and easy elimination. Henu taking the injury, unfortunately, relatively quickly after being unhooked, but once again, nice movement, breaking line of sight, getting some distance while denying the easy gameplay for the Nurse, but ultimately in the comp corner, it's all coming to an end. Hanno being brought towards the hook here, and that's going to be goodbye to Hanno. After some nice chases being dropped early on the trial, 3 survivors of Severance remaining on the call tower. 2.5 generators completed so far, and this is now definitely opening up the chance for Doc to strike and make sure that this is going to be a 4K result, even with a generator standing. Nice blink there onto Potato, quick injury. Moving back here towards the midsection, difficult prediction needed. Nice movement by Potato, staying unpredictable, forcing the Nurse into a swing and a miss. Right side of the main building completed, difficult region therefore remaining now next to the hill here, 60% in the main building. And on the left side, very famous 3-gen for the Nurse, as she doesn't need to worry about climbing up the staircase and can just go defend the generators by simple blinking. Always very, very much an advantage that the Nurse can take there. Finds ward here, blinking more safely, as the risk so far whenever trying to predict onto Potato or Hanno didn't really work out. So Doc changing the strategy a little bit on the blinks, not trying to go for the risky style anymore, instead more with the safe information, trying to get ward there after listening carefully where the survivor is located, but ward is going to get away, and Potato and Ward might have time now to meet up and go for the full reset. Generator on the hill is still being worked on, will remain the object of worry, we could say, or caretaking of Doc here, because you really want to lose this gen, as it's part of your very wonderful 3-gen up there.
Yeah, and the survivors very smartly taking Doc to that specific side of the map, obviously as far away from the gens as possible. Nurse not able to traverse the full map distance, but does slow her down in the process. And so any good chases in this side of the map is going to be really good for them to get those gens done. And he blinks over to Shaq here, trying to find survivor. We see Ruin Cleanse, so the only perk in play right now for Doc is Pain Res. And he still has those 3 stacks. Might opt to hook here potentially to secure some regression. Doesn't opt to go basement. Does want to get that stack of Pain Res, as we see potentially a Scourge hook over here. And they are hopefully, unfortunately, not able to get that gen done in time before the hook. So flat 20% secured, as we see the sparks fly from that gen after the Pain Res comes through. And not ideal to have a hook stay here right next to that gen. Unhook comes through quite fast, but Doc smelling that really nicely as he continues chase onto Potato, and is going to go down, unfortunately. And that is quite a quick down, and a bit of pressure now on the survivors of Severance, as Doc's able to translate a second down pretty quickly, and that is going to be another sack of pins, I believe. It is. So not exactly what they need. Whatever pressure they had before is now definitely hindered in this game. If Ward is injured, can't he healthy, and gonna hold this area of the map to see if he can find a survivor going for the unhook. As I said previously, quite a long-range map and very easy to spot survivors out, so they're gonna need to hide and not let Doc take over the game at this stage. 2 gens remaining.
Yeah, now it's on edge again. Survivors need to be very, very strong. We've seen it a little bit in the previous set with the Spirit. Severance was taking it very slow, going for a lot of healing, a lot of repositioning across the generators, trying to make sure that they are not falling apart. Of course, on the Nurse, this is a little bit more difficult than compared to the Spirit, but so far they are doing a good job. 1 survivor is back to healthy even, so only 2 injured survivors at the moment, and Doc constantly has to go back towards the generator next to the hill here, really worried that the survivors are getting it done. This is showing us also how good Severance is. Besides the pressure, besides the injuries, besides the elimination even that came out pretty early, they are able to show some significant pressure on the generators This ward going down here, unfortunately, relatively quick, so that shouldn't be enough time to heal Courtney and hop on the generators, so they might need to go for the decision here between the one or the other, and it seems like we had an RNG skill check there in the corner of the map when the survivor was letting go. So Doc is trying to find that survivor over here now, but would be really surprised if we are seeing that. Nice to see though that the third survivor immediately rotated into the hook as well, getting the survivor back into the map. This was a quality in the previous trial that Severance constantly had all available survivors back in the trial and working on the generators. Doc with a nice blink here into the ground to make sure that he's not over blinking behind the survivor, taking ward back on the ground. Decisive strike coming in. Is it going to be enough for that final generators? Are these seconds enough to force us into endgame? Great recovery from the DS though. Doc absolutely not impressed by Ward throwing in the second chance here, being super strong, and that's going to be the quick rehook right here. Goodbye to Ward, leaving Courtney and Potato, and Courtney is still not fully healed. Potato was sticking to the generator. Is it going to be enough? They all together are smashing through. Endgame reached, yet I believe it's going to be difficult to take any stages out of the door here, but the fact that they got all gens done and forced their opponent into getting a stage out of the door is pretty impressive in a nurse set that often ends on 4k1.
Yes, as you said, I was about to say, follow up with that. The result you usually see is 1 or 2 gens remaining, and they have communicated in such a way that they have managed to get that 5th gen done. And the decisive strike, I say, probably carried that result just then. A delay from that and into the prolonged chase just meant that they had the time and the positioning to get that last gen done. So really well played by Yunoya, and I would say quite a good result for them, especially going into that return fixture for their nurse killer and the finishing Mori as we go into the next game. But yeah, really well played. This is a very, very typical setting for nurse, and so these players are very well practiced. And we'll see how the next set goes after the short break. Hello everyone and welcome back. We have Ward here for Team Severance on Killer. On Cold Tower, this is trial number 4, and Lethal Pursuer was in place, so knows the positions of the survivors already on this backside of the map, trying to find the first chase. And an interesting perk choice we see there is ultimate weapon for those lockers, so a bit opting for a bit more information this time round. As you see some scratch marks over here. And we're going to see footsteps go past the locker in the first place. And unfortunately doesn't get the hit on the window onto Karma. Going to continue chasing over here into the structure by this gem. And is going to follow up there with a quick blink attack. Maybe looked to commit this. But Karma very smartly running into the corner of the map, away from the area that Ward might be wanting to protect. With the 3 gen there at the end of the map, we see 4 stacks of pain res ready to be used as well. As he sees some progression on this gen in the corner, thinking maybe there is someone in the area, and it is going to be Serial on the tap, trying to avoid this nurse, but unfortunately going to get tap, but gets kind of confused. Good pathing from Serial there to avoid Ward. Paths over to Shaq, and in an area really not by the gens, but yeah, gets that down. May opt to hook on a scorch hook or go basement here, who knows. And does he have enough distance to reach this hook? I'm not sure. There is a hook over here, but is this a scorch hook? We don't know. We'll find out, but I would say a very slow start to the game.
Yep, the Serial here on the hook now. Ward a little bit behind, you could say. The fact that the first generator is quicker than the hook stage is very rare in Nurse sets and usually indicate that there's something going very wrong at the moment. So Ward, formerly known as Boleta, better getting these stages in much quicker. We might even need to go for some slugging. Keep in mind, everyone, for the win condition, we would need a 4K on one generator remaining in order to take the win. For Severance here, a little bit of a difficulty. Daimao being found right next to the hook, and then it felt like he was a little bit unsure what's the right play, if he should go for the unhook or if it's better to pull back. And Ward now trying to get a little bit greedy himself, going for a risky blink, making sure that there's going to be the trade coming in now, and we are getting informed, very rightfully so. 4K on all gens remaining would actually be enough, because I forgot about the penalty that we have on the side of Infinity. So a 4K all gens completed will still be the win for Severance here. Shout out to Frozen for catching that here and correcting me. Very quickly though, it came to a lot of chaos. Zach, Armor on the floor, Serial on the hook in a moment, Daimao being injured, 2 injured survivors now around the hook here. So Infinity, as great as it was with the first generator, it's looking a little bit more tricky now.
Yeah, unfortunately going a bit downhill there with that trade, and the quick down onto Serial has allowed the situation to really get out of control, as he's already found Serial, and that is going to be a potential kill here onto Serial, I believe. As the save went through, he's now dead at 3 gens remaining. Karma has been picked up, so not much progression happening right now after the first 2 gens were completed so quickly. So I think that Ward has clawed back a bit of pressure, and yeah, the Infinity survivors are going to be scrambling right now to try and get back some of that momentum they had going into the start. Karma now running into edge map, going to go down, and we saw a 3rd gen pop there in the distance. And oh no, Daimo's in the area, so this is going to be 2 slugs potentially for Ward, and this is devastating, Dai. This is really bad for Infinity. Where is Doc? That is the question. But 2 slugs in the area is going to mean that it's going to be quite bad.
Yeah, things falling apart a little bit. Unfortunately, the team that is representing France here in the DBDLeague having some very unlucky trials so far, starting off with the first one that didn't really work out by just a little bit on the Spirit. Played good, had good ideas, and then Severance a little bit ahead of them, then loading into their own set. The set where you would really say, let's go Infinity, this is your chance, this is your momentum now, it's your Nurse, you pick the map, you pick the killer, time to strike, bringing it back to 1-1, and then you're going into the set with a different perk build than you provided, getting the penalty. Luckily, the penalty doesn't matter. This is always my biggest fear, that we are having some sort of tie and then the penalty breaking it, because we all know this is very sad when the penalty makes the decision, even though it's fair. If you broke the rules, you deserve it, just like in any other sport. But it's always nicer if we are having the gameplay itself being the deciding factor, and this is the case here because Ward is absolutely playing out of his mind. Has done so in the previous week, is still doing so on the Spirit and on the Nurse today. So we are already talking about the potentially final set of the day. The tier 3 Myers is going to bring the decision. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why you should root for Team Infinity. Because we would see the Halloween Spirit in set number 4. And the Halloween Spirit has something very special that the rule committee cooked. Basically, the spirits have to bring haunted ground into the trial. No other hex perk, only haunted ground is allowed and forced. And the survivor team needs to get rid of the haunted ground before the first generator is completed. So it's even allowed to keep a lot of gens on 99, but if you want to pop any of the generators, you need to cleanse the haunted ground before doing that. And I would have really loved to see this set in all Hallows League, but in case Severance is going to take the tier 3 Myers home, they are going to move on into the top 6. So let's see who's going to have upper hand in the tier 3 Myers. Is it going to be Ward and team Severance, or is it going to be Serial, Daimao, Doc, and Karma on the side of Infinity? And since we're keeping the same lobby, I think we can just yap through the break here. Zach, you have seen Infinity so far for 2 sets now. You have seen Severance. Is it going to be a clean sweep with a 3-0, or is Infinity going to strike?
It's difficult to say. I think that there was a small slip up in that game, which unfortunately led to that result. And just Ward was able to capitalize it. He's been such a strong killer throughout this tournament, able to tie like Nightlight's Nurse last week in a survivor performance, carrying him through the games. Just really, really good, strong performance. I would say that for me, I think Severance will take it. Just based on what we've seen so far today, and they're in really good form. But you can't count Infinity out because they are also a strong team. It's all to play for. And we have a Halloween set. And again, I've said multiple times, these sets are crazy. These sets are crazy. They have specific conditions, and it just leads to, it goes back to comfort zone as well. Our first 2 very standard Spirit Nurse sets that the players are used to. And the deciding match point going into our Halloween set. Last game we had a match point on a scratch mirror set. Obviously the tier 3 a bit more comfortable, but we said it before. It is essentially like down to this early game. So if Ward can get a good early game, get his tier 3, it's going to give him a really strong start into the set.
Yeah, what's so interesting, you're talking about the comfort zone. I would like to add there, what's really interesting, it is not forced that the Halloween sets are coming as 3 and 4. And we have seen a best of 5 last week where the teams say, let's kick it off with the Halloween sets. But interesting enough, besides this one match, there's no other games last week that said, let's put the Halloween sets as 1 and 2. They all want to come in with these classic killers that they all know, and then when they are warmed up against each other, then they want to go for Halloween. It's the same tomorrow when Eternal is facing Calamity, and I believe Oracle and Elysium, it's going to be the same as well. So they all want to play the normal killers first and then going into Halloween, which is understandable, right? You have less experience on the killer, less scrim time, of course, as well. Multiple teams are playing in parallel tournaments. So you don't really have the time to practice all these Halloween killers on top. And this is what we really love about all Hallows League, because it's adding this factor of who's more spontaneous. That's also why we at least enforced on the standard killers, if you want to call them like this, that the map is unknown for the team that didn't select the killer. So we want more spontaneous reactions by the team. We want to test who can be strong against any killer in any circumstances and any environment. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with the tier 3 Myers. Remember, a special rule for this Halloween set is that the killer either has to bring Trail of Torment or Unforeseen to add a little bit of stealth and a little bit of undetectable status effect. First chase already coming out here with the dog, trying to break line of sight through the door as quick as possible, doing this very, very wonderful. And Zach and me talked about it in the previous game that we have seen today, even though it was not the chosen strategy there for the survivors, it would be an option to keep 2 survivors a little bit more hidden and deny tier 3 for quite some time.
Yeah, the stealth coming from the first tier of Myers caught Karma off guard there, so he's able to give up quite a lot of stalk. So a bit of momentum for Ward on the tier up, gets tier 2, and yeah, we said also that essentially the use of the perk also is going to help in catching survivors off guard. If they're not able to spot the Myers in all of these rooms, see, look, he kicks again. He's got now 30 seconds of undetectable. As he leaves Karma, see scratch marks going this way. Wants to try and catch someone off guard. And he's going to be seeing the Renato here. And it's Daimo feeding him lots of stalk. And Karma gets back on the gen in the corner, unfortunately getting stalked as well. Here's the gen being worked on here. Still undetectable. But the survivor hasn't been spotted. Are they here at this tower? I'm not sure. Yes, they are. They're crouched. So this is going to feed quite a lot of stalk for Ward. Already halfway to tier 3. Not a gen. A gen has not popped. We see Eruption in play as well. Very typical. We've seen Eruption played on every kill up so far in these tier 3 sets. Very, very good perk and very useful for those insta-downs. But this isn't really the distance that you want on a tier 3 Myers stalking you. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for Serial right now because he's only got 2 survivors fully stalked. It might just be enough as he commits to the stalk here. And we're going to see, yeah, so there's going to be tier 3 secured. 4 gens remaining. As he tries to get this first down. Not the safest pallet, but Serial is playing this pretty well as he presses the controls there on that desk. And is going to go down. Eruption applied. And early first down, early tier 3. Very comfortable scenario, I think, for Ward.
Yeah, feeling good, not too late, that's for sure. Could be a lot more difficult on the killer side. In fact, even 4 generators still standing is kind of the dream start, you could say, when we're talking about the tier 3 Myers. And Infinity is the team that really needs to step up here, making sure that they are getting the pressure in, that they are getting closer towards the end game as quick as possible here. But unfortunately, it feels like that the first 2 sets really are on their shoulders now. The pressure is high. Spirit was lost really closely. Then the Nurse set, as we described, it was the set, the chance for Infinity to strike, and then you're coming in taking an unfortunate penalty. Karma, unfortunately, here over peaking a little bit, not aware that the Myers is already so close, so kind of a free down here as well, getting the second hook stage in. And this is all also going to boost Ward now, right? You are knowing, if I play a good killer game one more time, we are in the top 6, we are eliminating Infinity today, then you're getting the first 2 downs, you're noticing I'm strong, I have my power on tier 3, so big check mark also when we are talking about the to-do list, and all of this is now creating a very dangerous hype.
Yep, 2 early downs, still at 4 gens. And he's just probably, well, he's snowballing this pretty well. Unfortunately, catching Karma off guard. And a gen pops in the distance, but he is going to rotate back to this area where the hook was because he knows this gen is trying to be done. And unfortunately, Karma getting caught out again. Does he make this pallet? He does, thankfully. He's going to buy himself a bit more time as he breaks this pallet. Gen popping in from the distance, and good progress on this 4th one. So the progression is there from Infinity after the shaky start. They're doing really well to get these gens on, and Karma's playing this tower really well, buying a lot of time for the team. And we'll see if he can play this. Unfortunately, not going to go down. I believe that is Karma dead. No. No, the decisive strike. And I think it was his 2nd stage. Never mind. But buying even more time for his team. Karma playing really well. And he's going to check this gen upstairs, not going to commit the chase. But nobody working on this upstairs gen. 4th gen pops. and he sees 2 survivors there running. The last gen, wow, they have a lot more progress than I thought. They're doing really, really well, actually. I think that Ward is not as far ahead as he might have initially thought.
Yeah, it's impressive how quick Infinity is now making a comeback here. Extremely efficient on the generators. I totally agree with you. Was not expecting that. Even having the nerfs for such a brilliant DH here by Serial. Cooking there with the dangerous E button. Making sure that Ward is losing pressure, not getting the down, not getting the hook stage, and these generators are also in such disgusting positions, right? It's across the entire map. Ward might have the tier 3, but it's still very hard to maneuver from one side on the other. So you better have a speed run in the end game. Doc is a good survivor to chase here, would be 3 additional stages, bringing it up to 5 stages and 3 survivors, which is kinda what we have seen in other tier 3 Maya sets as well. But it's also not really a reason for your survivor team to feel ultra confident and going into the upcoming trial with the mindset of, well, we are going to smash it here. So Severance will have one hell of a task to do on the survivor side, 5 stages on 3 individual survivors here. Good trial by Ward, especially the early game, but even stronger the comeback of Infinity.
Yeah, the gen efficiency was just insane from Infinity, especially especially after that start from Ward getting his tier 3 so quickly and 2 quick downs. And then all 4 gens just popping in quick succession. It didn't even seem like that long. So Severance have a bit of a challenge ahead of them. But if today's anything to go by, we could have some confidence in them. But we will see that after this quick break. Hello everyone, and welcome back to this tier 3 Myers set on Hawkins National Laboratory. We have Doc playing for us this game, trial number 6, and he is hoping for 6 stages to secure the win. As he finds first chase on to Cartney here. As we said, tier 3, we want to secure it fast. Know the drill. Opting for Trail of Torment this time, different to the unforeseen last game, and getting a pallet stun, allowing a lot of distance. Very, very nice. Slowing down the killer and trying to break line of sight with these corners. But going to leave Cartney now, try and find another survivor. Tiered up to tier 2, so it does have a terror radius, so they're not going to be able to catch too many people off guard. But he does find Alos there, getting a bit of extra stalk. And he just applies Trail of Torment to that gen. And yeah, pretty textbook stuff. Seen this in the last game on Ward. And approaching halfway to tier 3. No gens have popped just yet. But yeah, just going to be trying to see if you can find where these survivors are. And he sees survivor running off there. I believe that was Henu. Oh no, it was Ward. Okay, so Ward's been found. Fresh survivor, no stalk applied just yet. So may want to commit this. Play with your food actually in play. So Ward being the obsession. We're going to have a speedy tier 3 Myers later into the game. Finding Alos here, just trying to get this stalk up. Almost there. And these survivors are doing very well to break line of sight in these chases to stop the stalk being taken. And it is just a matter of time. Kicks to apply Eruption and Trail of Torment there. Nicely done. And an RNG skill check on that gen is going to confirm the position of another survivor. And he makes his way over here. Does not want to follow that survivor going towards Portal Room. So survivors in this general area. As he's gonna stalk him, looking down at him from the hole, and that is going to be tier 3 secured from Ward. Very nicely delivered. And he is going to now trying to find his first down to get this eruption applied. Quite a lot of spread progression across the map, as we've seen. And so this first down is going to need to come in pretty soon if doesn't want the gens to pop, which it does. Unfortunately, Alex not going to get that corner tech in that room. Very unsafe to play against Insta Survivor. We see Henry here on this upstairs gen. He will have heard him there. And Henry's probably going to try and... Oh, he applies the blast bind. Never mind. I was going to say maybe he wants to commit, but might not be the best move. And he drops down. First stage. Secured at 5 gens. Tier 3. A bit of a faster, I would say, progress. But I think that they have quite a lot of progression early on there.
Yeah, it's looking good on the generator front so far. What's shocking a little bit is how long these survivors are dealing with the Trail of Torment, because they are not quick on jumping on the generator that is responsible for the undetectable status effect here. So they are really allowing Dog basically to take this undetectable status and to come out really, really strong. Survivors played a little bit chaotic, in my opinion. We saw that when we saw the debate, basically, should we go for the generator on the top or not. We saw the survivor moving over there, then pulling back. And also when you're the obsession and the killer is kind of busy on the top side, why is the obsession not rotating towards the bottom side furthest away? Because a play with your food is definitely something you can expect here. So this would be maybe something to ask later on. And it's also a solid question why Ward is deciding to go for a slow vault there. Yeah, you want to make sure that the entity is not blocking the window too fast, but this was unfortunately too much of a risk. So we are now going to talk about 3 individual survivors hooked already, so 3 stages already applied. So it's halftime, more than halftime actually, when we are talking about the tie condition. 2 more stages, basically Ward dying on hook would be the tie, and if Cartney or any other survivor is going to be on the hook and then eliminated, we are talking about the 6 stages very, very soon. So let's see if Severance can play a flawless game from now on. They only have 1 generator so far. 4 more would be needed, and after this pallet is dropped, it's a really difficult mind game to win. Hallows therefore going down. Hook stage number 4 coming in. We are reaching the win condition soon.
Yeah, 4 gens remaining. It does not look good for Severance here. Doc playing this really well, and unfortunately the coordination was not there at the start to deny the tier 3. You saw them working on the gens in the sort of same-ish area, so he was able just to bounce around these survivors and just get the stalk, push them off, stop the progression, and get the hooks. A second gen popping there in the distance, and he is going to be looking for the next survivor to chase as he spots out an injured Ward here. Going to be farming him for a play with your food stack instead of committing. And you can see these survivors are trying to work these gens, but doing really well to spot them out. It is Henu up here injured. And again, another hard mind game to win, as he is going to be hit over that vault. Eruption applied. We hear Cartney screaming in the distance. That is going to be eruption applied to that gen. And yeah, closer and closer and closer to winning. And if Doc continues as he is going, it is going to be a nice and comfortable win, I think, for Infinity in this set.
Ward here in the difficult situation, being responsible for everything basically. At the same time, we are talking about the tie at the moment, so we are definitely going into the Spirit set. But if Ward is going hooked, yeah, that definitely deserves a little bit of a nod there through the palette, a little bit of a focus, and it feels like things on the side of Severance are falling a little bit apart. It's going to be very likely hook stage number 6. We just need to throw Ward on the hook for that, and Doc doesn't want to take extra risk. He could go for the slug here, trying to get the most beautiful and fast 4K out of the way, but getting the win condition for himself has the priority here. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to witness the first ever Halloween Spirit. As we said, special rule for the Spirit is going to be haunted ground in the trial, and these survivors need to cleanse that before the first generator is completed. If they don't do that, they would forfeit the set immediately. So the punishment from the rule committee, they're very, very hard. And we are also staying on Hawkins for the Spirit, so players can use the remaining time to warm up. But I feel like Infinity is back. Infinity realizes that they can keep Severance under control, so they might be pretty dangerous here.
Yeah, really showing performance in this game. Hawkins has been a bit of a map for us today. We've seen quite a few sets played on it. So as far as viewing experience, we're seeing a lot of decent chases, decent loops. As Henu there going to go down. Has there been any Halloween sets we haven't seen so far aside from the Halloween, aside from the Spirit set there? I'm trying to think. I'm not too sure. But the other sets that we have seen with the Eerie Hatchet Huntress and the Omrio as the... Sorry, just getting choked up there for a second. Just going to finish up this game as Carter goes down. And yeah, doing really well. Finishing up this game. Really excited to see how next game goes with the Halloween Spirit, how they opt to play that first early game. See if we can get that totem cleansed. I know totems are quite hard to find on this map sometimes. And it is going to be very interesting to see another playstyle introduced for these Halloween sets. I'm not going to come through onto Cartney. 3 survivors injured. Looking very dire. I'm going to go round into this room. Ward going to drop that pallet. And see if we can play this mind game very nicely. Is going to go down. And just finishing up and cleaning up. As he sees Cartney over there. They're trying to get this last gen done. For the mindset of the survivors, of course, trying to get the best results possible. But Doc putting in a performance here on the Myers, doing very, very well to defeat these survivors of Severance. Taking chase upstairs, not the safest. Just playing these loops, these rooms really nicely. Pretty standard stuff. Eruption applied in the gen in the distance. And Cartney is going to take this hook here. And that is going to be the death for Cartney. 2 survivors remaining as he goes on the hunt for the remaining players here. Sees that final gen being worked on. And it's going to be Alos here as he chases upstairs.
Nice.
Onto these rafters. Really well played. Gets the down. Flying Myers with that big knife. Or screwdriver, I think. I'm not sure what that is. Definitely a sharp object to poke into these survivors. Ward here being found, and that is going to be well played to Doc here. Score of 4K1. Really strong result. And going into this next set, Infinity looking really, really good. Severance a bit shaken by this set. But you cannot count them out. They have been playing very well. Ward and his killer performance. And yeah, I mean, we expected a contest today with the elimination on the table for these teams. And they are showing that they are not out for the count yet. Very nicely done.
Yeah, this might be more punishing for Severance actually then just losing this set point, because for Infinity it was the final chance to get back into this match, and now they not only won it and took the set point back into a 2-1, they also 4K'd with the generator remaining, which is, when we're looking at the results so far in AHL, a very impressive result for tier 3 Myers. And in case Doc is playing Spirit again, as we have seen earlier, and you just learned that you can keep Severance under control, even 4K them with the generator standing on a mechanically weaker killer, then you might turn out to be a very, very dangerous Spirit in this upcoming trial. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the reminder: Halloween Spirit is played on Hawkins. The killer has to bring Haunted Ground. No other hex perk is allowed. The survivors need to cleanse Haunted before the first generator is completed. And with that being said, we are setting up the lobby, and we will see you very, very soon. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DBDLeague. We are here with Infinity on the killer side and the Halloween Spirit. Once again, the reminder, if you already forgot it in the past 3 minutes during the break, Haunted Ground is forced. Every Spirit has to bring it in the Halloween set. No other hex perks are allowed in the trial. And the survivors need to get rid of the Haunted Ground before the first generator is completed. If they are going to keep every gen in the Hawkins map, even all 8 generators on 99, and then pop Haunted and then bum through the gens, or if they are doing this on 1 generator at the beginning, is up to them. Every team can choose their individual strategy. Important is that Haunted is popped in time, which of course is putting up the difficulty of finding the totem first. So you really want to know all the possible totem spawns on Hawkins. You might want to have some perks that are helping you with the objectives, and let's see when Infinity is able to already have the first hook stage. Answer to that is pretty clear. Just around the 1 minute mark, and Severance with Courtney, Hanu and Hallows currently scouting the trial. When is it going to be the successful cleanse of Haunted? Zach, with the hook stage now, would you wait and rescue first, or would you say, nah, straight through it, let's get to business?
Well, before I could answer, they answered for me. It's going to be the unhook. Maybe I would say a good strategy for them would be to have 2 survivors sort of interacting with the killer, 2 looking for the totem. Might be a good play, and it gets a really nice hit over the pallet just on the edge of the hitbox there onto Ward. And second stage for Ward so early on. They have to be sweating a little bit. And when they have they found this totem yet? They have not, so yeah, no progress really on that on that front. Maybe they are going for the 99 gen strat, I'm not sure. Yes, as he is searching around the area, and it looks like the hex totem has been found, which is good news for Severance right now. Sees the unit come through, but even with the totem popping and it being good news, if he manages to find Ward, who I believe is just plot twisted somewhere, that is going to be devastating for a death at 5 gens. And already seeing this this unique condition for that Halloween set coming into play here, and he finds Ward on the floor, and that is going to be Ward out of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 gens remaining, and the Haunted Ground does pop. Pretty devastating stuff, and bad luck for Ward to be found there. And yeah, that is pretty nasty.
And to everyone who just came back, if you're wondering why popping the Haunted Ground, the survivors are forced to pop Haunted Ground before completing the first generator. This is the special rule for the Halloween Spirit set. every killer brings Haunted Ground on the Spirit on Hawkins. No other hex perks are allowed. The survivors know that Haunted Ground is in the trial and they have to cleanse it before first gen is popping. Once again, how they are handling this, if they are doing every gen 99, then popping it last, or coming to the totem last and then getting the gens out of the way, or if they are doing this at the beginning, is their good choice. Here we see it successfully done. Haunted Ground is now removed from the trial and 2 generators already coming out as well. Feels like a very, very nice achievement so far from Team Severance if there wouldn't be this elimination from Ward. I feel like this overshadows this entire trial, because as 3 survivors against the Spirit, you obviously have a lot less power on the survivor side, so we can only hope that somehow we are now seeing a big comeback, maybe on the chase with Arlos. Unfortunately, I just cast a curse, our lovely Ada, and she's very likely also going to be in the basement, so it's not just a caster curse, it's an ultimate caster curse that is coming out here. Very unfortunate. Courtney and Hennu should focus on the generators, because I feel like, Zach, at least 2 more should come out here if you don't want a 2-2 with Team Infinity.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We saw them 99 2 gens, I believe. After that totem was cleansed, you saw them pop in quick succession. Roughly around the same time. So when we were talking about strategy, it looks like they wanted to get some progression on the map before they started hunting for that totem. So that's how they decided to play it. Reset coming very quickly onto Alos, as he finds Hennu there on the portal room gen. I'm going to follow through with the chase here. Obviously, 1 survivor dead does make it very difficult for the survivors. I didn't quite see how much progression was on that gen, but as some time has passed, you would hope to see them popping them. Going to continue chasing this room, very strong room. That first pallet's already gone, and nice setup to get that second one done. Going to be chasing around onto Hennu as he tries to path a bit weirdly, but does end up getting tagged there. And still at 3 gens remaining. Should hopefully see another one popping soon, as Hennu runs upstairs to avoid this Spirit. And looks like it's going to be a down. Yep, that is a down onto Hennu. And is this a Scourge Hook? We will see. It is. Very unfortunate to go down next to that Scourge Hook. Going to instantly get that regression popped. And where are Courtney and Alos? We will see. And this is Courtney here working on this gen. At gen about 50 or 60%. Eruption is in play, so that is going to be another perk there in use for Doc. And the gen pops there in the distance. That is portal room gen, I believe, that Hennu was working on. So has information on all survivors at the minute. And we'll see if the unhook comes through, but hovering around this area down below. And doing pretty well. See some scratch marks there. That looks like Alos running for the unhook. And Courtney probably hopping back on the generators. Yeah, opting to do the trade. Eruption going to pop. And will he hook Alos? Yeah, so first hook was basement, so this is going to be a pain res. Slowing down the game even further. That is 50% on that gen after the eruption pop as well. So everything's sort of going really well for Doc here. And that is going to be Hennu dead out of the trial. Oh, never mind. It was the decisive strike that he forced. Really well played. And going to unfortunately go down very quickly. Unhook comes through onto Alos, but this is looking a bit disastrous for the survivors, and potentially looking at a 4K at 2 generators remaining.
It is very important to get these generators out of the way. Even now, it would still not be the best result. You really want to throw in your killer player, basically telling him you can play around a 3-gen. And so far, it would be Team Infinity in the upcoming Survivor trial able to ignore said 3-gen and still taking the win. So Severance should make sure that there is at least one more generator coming out, so the Severance killer can make sure that he has the chance playing around the 3-gen, in this way at least taking the tie. Trying to scout the area here at the bottom. Little bit of scouting for the survivors mixed with the scouting at the generators, because of course you don't want to hand out generator number 4 for free here. Need to make sure that it's at least coming with the high price of commitment, for example, and then being turned into the 4K. A lot of progress over here so far. No, actually, not as optimistic as I'm trying to hype it here. I'm trying to cheer up Severance a little bit, so let's act like that was a lot of progress, and they are very, very close. Maybe we can cast a curse them in the right direction. This generator here also looking like someone is working on it, so they have the right strategy, that's for sure. One survivor on the top left, one survivor here next to the exit gate on the side, trying to drag it across the furthest distance possible, wasting the biggest amount of time from Doc. And it seems like he's very confident that there's a survivor down here, because he's not going back towards the top side, checking on the generator up there, which is impressive to see. Doc now back in the hallway, but if Severance is able to hide so good and making sure they're splitting across the gens, they might have a chance here.
Yeah, they absolutely don't want to get found here. But Doc is onto someone currently. If he can get a chase him down, that is not going to be final gen popping. But he hasn't found a chase in quite a while, I would say. So they are going to get these gens closer and closer. Hallows hiding upstairs in the direction of the killer, and does see some scratch marks, and is going to be found. So this chase needs to last. He needs to be able to buy time for Cartney, who is... we are hoping to see on that 4th gen, and winning the mind game with the balance landing really nice, buying the time. Does he want to commit to this? Very, very good chase coming here from Ala so far, and Cartney is 60% on that 4th generator, but opting to go back and check. And yeah, Doc smelled something was up, realized he didn't want to commit to the chase too much, and has seen that there's not enough progression on the other gens to be worried about. So only that one so far, and we'll see what Cartney can do in this chase in Portal Room. Unfortunately, taking a hit there quite early on, and yeah, of course they tried to stealth, because in a situation like that, you do not want to be found if you want any chance of getting that gen done. Unfortunately, really nice pallet stun, but again, suspicious of this 4th gen. Ada not in sight, maybe working on a different one. We're going to path back to Portal Room to see if you can find Cartney again. And yes, look at this gen. So far, that is 80% on the gen. So if he commits this chase, they do get the 4th gen done. I'm not sure about the 5th. The 5th might be a bit too much to wish for, but in a situation where you've got 2 survivors left, popping a gen is so massive. And what's that eruption on that gen? I'm not sure. It was, but it looks like he's going to get done anyway. Yeah, he does get the gen. Yeah. So well played. Well played by Severance to get 4 gens popped in such a tense scenario. And yeah, as he continues chase onto Hallows here, he's going to get that final down and secure the 4K one. But really well played by Severance in the situation that they were presented with. Continue chase on this. Maybe try opt for a spicy TJ, who knows? I don't know. And there's literally in the final moments of this game, gets that last down, and that is going to be it. Securing these hooks, really well played on both sides actually. Doc for getting such a quick kill onto Ward. Really unfortunate that plot twist was found. because I feel like that would have changed the pacing of the game, even with the special rule. Getting as much progress as they can before that totem was done. And yeah, we'll see how, on the flip side, the Infinity survivors decide to play with this special rule. As you can see, they...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, definitely going to be the deciding factor for the upcoming trial. How well is the answer when playing around this haunted ground totem? Team Infinity has seen one strategy now. We have had 2 generators round about the 99. No panic about the totem. Already having the hook stage, a little bit of chaos, we could say, going on, and then just in the perfect moment when you already have some injuries as well, so the one hit from the haunted ground is not so punishing anymore, then striking and getting your 2 prepared generators done. Will we see something completely different? All gens completed would bring us into set number 5, same as 4 gens completed, but then Infinity still down a set point. So let's find out, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with the Spirit on Hawkins with a special Halloween rule around haunted ground after a very short break.
Hello everyone and welcome back to this special Halloween set for Spirit on Hawkins National Laboratory. We have Ward on Killer, and I would just like to take a second to remind everyone that a forced perk here, Haunted Ground, a special rule as part of the All Hallows League balancing, is that the survivors need to find and cleanse the totem before any generators pop. So if they pop a gen before they cleanse the totem, they immediately forfeit the match. So we are going to see how they play with this special rule. Finding a chase onto Serial here on the Ada in Portal Room. You would think a strong first place to chase, but playing the mind game really well. Unfortunately, going to be a quick down onto Serial there. And we hear the totem. So they found it a lot quicker than the Severance survivors did. So now there's going to be 60 seconds of exposure on the survivors whilst the totem is in effect. And as you see, they cleanse it very fast, very, very fast. It seems that they prioritized finding the totem instead of 99 mid-generators like Severance did last game. So already seeing the differing strategies for this special rule set. And the hindrance of the totem being around no longer a factor. So they can now play a normal game. And yeah, just going to be hovering around this area to try and spot an unhooker. Pretty standard stuff. Serial in here, the portal room, waiting patiently for a teammate to come and rescue him. And Ward has other ideas. See Eruption in play in the distance on one of those gens, and Pain Res also. And we see Doc coming for the save. It's going to be a quick trade. Eruption applied on the gen in the distance, and he's going to continue chase on to Serial to try and progress the elimination of this first survivor. Here's him at this pallet here, and really nice pathing there from Ward. And oh, unfortunately, oh, actually, never mind. Gets the dead hard. He's going to stay running into the wall there, maybe misjudging the tile, but really, really well timed from Ward there. Not Ward, Serial. The Serial's going to go down. And there's going to be a second hook stage onto Serial. 4 gens remaining. Doc getting picked up, and a gen pops there. So 3 gens remaining for the survivors. Maybe not as fast a start as Ward might like.
Yeah, Ward with the difficulty here. If we compare that with the previous trial, the haunted ground caused a lot more difficulties. We had the first hook stage quicker, we had more injuries, more chaos in general in the first minute of the game, and here Infinity finding the totem quicker, waiting for the perfect moment as soon as the team member is going down, being thrown on the hook, striking with the totem, and then kind of pulling away, playing really, really careful. So Ward really needs to speed up the pressure and the game here, and this is the chance to do so. Doc, with the injury here, maybe now able to interrupt the unhooker as well, causing some chaos, bringing in something unexpected. This would be needed in order to make sure that Team Infinity is not walking off with the second set point here. Very nice stun by Karma, but Ward not allowing the free unhook will turn it into a trade at least. This would be still fine for Team Infinity because you're gaining 2 minutes and 20 seconds of hang time by a fresh survivor, and you also want to make sure that the potential deliverance is not going to come in clutch here, though. Ada with the greed on the pallet and the DH in the back pocket making a longer run here. Ward struggling to get the survivor out of the game, even struggling locating Ada. Ada is on a run, and Karma already being picked up. Ward losing the entire pressure that he built up. Karma fully reset even in the distance. Very impressive comeback by Team Infinity. They will lose the survivor now. 3v1 scenario finally enforced by Ward, meaning less efficiency on the generators, less reset resources on the survivor side as well, but I feel like they are still feeling good on the side of Infinity, knowing that you're having 3 healthy survivors to get 3 generators out of the way. This would make me quite happy.
Yeah, me too. And the first 2 hooks of Cyril were not pain res, but that third and final hook was the first stack of pain res used, so no pressure on the gens really as far as that one eruption went. So I'm expecting a lot of progress on some of these gens. As you see, 2 gens here pretty far along, with 3 South-looking survivors, like you say. Just a matter of time before they start getting these popped, and you start to see sort of a bit of a pressure, a bit of a pressured situation for Ward, as he tries to find the survivor that just dropped down. We're gonna opt to scout around the area, move into these areas of the generators. Going to be phasing over to this one here by the exit gate, and does find Daimo here with the sprint burst being used by a little bit of time. And there's that first tag. Going to greed that pallet instead of holding the loop, and unfortunately it's going to go down, and that is 3 pops of eruption on those gens. So pretty ideal for Ward, hoping to get a score check in as he's seen quite a lot of progress on the map. And the hook respawn here from where Ada died. We do pop a 3rd gen in the distance.
Oh,
I'm not able to get that pain res in time. And walking over to that area, and the pressure is on Ward right now. We did see a lot of progression, and are they going to opt to change? Well, they're going to opt to commit these gens, go for the save. And yeah, they are pushing these generators out. Of course, 1 generator remaining and the last trial, so they might be trying to secure that eye or win condition. But yeah, it is pretty standard in these sets for the survivors to pull the spirit back and forth between these gens. Doc been found. Is he going to commit chase though? Is not. And going to go back to this portal room and sees Karma lurking around. It seems they have 2 generators on the go here, and Ward is trying to protect them both. Still has the 2 stacks of pain res to use. And going to continue chase onto Karma here. Really well played. This is a difficult loop to play, so every second counts, especially in the matter of getting these gens done. And unfortunately, vaults into the Spirit, losing that 50-50. And I'm going to get that hook onto Karma. Another stack of pain res, hopefully we'll see. 2 gens remaining for Ward. Still has a little bit of control. Those 2 survivors still healthy and remaining. And yeah, a bit of a nasty gen spread for Ward here. And finds Daimo, actually goes into that room, sees him there. And this could be quite bad. Daimo goes down, and the unhook hasn't gone through yet, so Doc is going to be needing to get this unhook, and which he does, thankfully. A bit of pressure on the survivors. Ward probably smiling right now, knowing that the gens are not being worked on. And is this the final score hook stack? No, it is not. Already been used on Daimo. And yeah, see the reset come through onto those survivors. And Doc already there for the trade. Obviously, with there being 3 survivors left, they want these unhooks to come through quite fast, but it is leading to a bit more pressure on the survivors. Really well played from Doc there to play the pallet. Not going to get the blind, unfortunately. And reading that pallet really nicely, making Ward miss that swing. He fakes the phase really nicely and gets the quick down onto Doc. And we see the survivors getting into these situations of trading. Unfortunately, Ward able to read it quite nicely and keeping the pressure on them. And that is going to be the final stack of pain res. And we'll see how this last gen looks there.
Back into the portal room, we just see 1 survivor leaving over here. Generator has a good amount of progress, trying to get the pressure, the last chance potentially for Severance here. Things don't really want to work out. Karma makes it just in time over the pallet, and the key point earlier potentially when the pain rest didn't hit the corner generator by just a few seconds off. Ward would have been able to still defend 3 generators now. With the phase, he would definitely been able to make it over there. Daimo seems to be a little bit confused that Ward is already up here. So going here onto the lower stage again, onto Daimo, not reaching the pallet. Chance again for Ward to strike. I feel like we almost need a slug here. But Ward thinks differently, wants to take the time real quick to throw the survivor on the hook. Daimo out of the game. Hopefully these 5 to 7 seconds that it takes to get the survivor on a hook isn't too much. All the way into the portal room. Power not back yet. If there's someone up there, they might just commit to the generator, forcing the tie. Being happy with that, going into the replay or set number 5 for now, and we would return to Spirit if set number 5 doesn't bring the decision, but it's not at all in time yet. So Ward needs to get the survivor down as quick as possible, and then switching over towards Decade, missing this one, so Doc gains some extra seconds, and this movement here might cost the entire game, but Karma able to glitch over the window in time, not taking the down, and now of course Karma is hopping back on the portal room. Insanely difficult, almost dramatic situation for Ward here, trying to get up to the generator, and now Zach, we might lose both gens because portal room is free to access.
Yeah, unfortunately trying to find Doc in the distance, but not able to, which meant that the gen does pop, but finds Karma, and Eruption pops on that gen above. So maybe not popping like we thought, like we initially thought. Now, where is Doc? Of course, just pop that gen off in the distance, and Ward is going to be searching for him. Probably has a rough idea of where he is, but it is an injured Kate, not the quietest, and it is lurking around the portal room for the unhook. But if Ward stays in this area, he will get found. And Karma going to let go, and it's just a matter of time now. Just needs to find Doc. Doesn't currently have an idea of where he might be. Going to wait for Hatch. Hatch would not count in the situation because the gens are not completed. And yeah, Doc running around panicked. All of his friends are dead. And yeah, I would say very well played from the survivors there. Securing that tie condition against Ward. Ward had a very nice bit of momentum in the mid game, and the survivors were on 2 gens for quite a bit of time. But yeah, really well played to coordinate and communicate enough to get that 4th gen popped. And I believe that does mean we go into game 5.
Yeah, very important to mention once again, the hatch does not count for this set as the gens were not completed. So it is in fact a tie. We are disregarding that. 4 gens completed on both 12 stages, 4 fresh hooks. So we need set a number 5 Billy on Shattered Square only if this is going to be a win for Infinity and we are having the 2-2. Then we would go back to the Spirit set on Hawkins. We are going to set this up real quick, ladies and gentlemen, and then we are going to throw it back to you, showing you the potential decisions. Stay tuned. Bonsoir, ladies and gentlemen, especially those fans of Team Infinity that was fighting back. Keep in mind, the hatch was ignored in the previous trial as not all gens were completed. So in trial 9 that we are witnessing now, it is either Severance taking the win in this best of 5 or Infinity pushing us into set 6, which would be the repeat of the Spirit on Hawkins. Is going to be the first Hex Totem already removed, paired with the Ruin Retribution, a little bit of aura reading here, and the Shattered Square on the Borgo is definitely not the most common map for the Billy, so let's see who prepared better. Keep in mind, everyone, the tiebreaker map is known for the teams, so they can make sure when it's going all the way through and the ultimate decision is needed that they have the perfect preparation here. Back pallet being thrown and sacrificed early, very understandable. You don't want to have the first down so quickly, and honestly, so far for a Billy set, it's going really well on the survivor side. Yeah, I'm not able to find that quick down. As I say that, the down happens, of course. Casting Curse onto Daimo there, but a gen popping off in the distance. Eruption was applied to that shack den, but it's just tickling it. Not any significant progress on that one. As Daimo is in the basement, so scary location to be hooked, but no pain res applied because of it. As he makes his way across the map to try and find second chase, which he has done onto Karma. Gonna kick the shin, apply Eruption, and opting to go back to try and find a survivor lurking for the save. If they can cut them off. Those defense being worked on, so if he can confirm that no one's going in for the unhook, then could potentially commit to a chase, but really wants to secure this kill onto Renato. A little bit of indecisiveness as he falls between Chak and Calm on that gen. Let's tease Doc here. Doc on the no mither. Second gen spot. And really trying to catch someone off guard here with the Billy. Finds Karma again, but does not commit to chase. I see Ward really trying to decide what he wants to do here. Ultimately, I think he's just trying to ensure that the gens aren't being worked on to pressure the survivors. But good start on the progression from the survivors. Good start indeed, and a little bit of a setback on the survivor side. Karma going down, definitely not the intention here. Daimao though getting there in time. And we are playing this very famous who's leaving the basement last and through which exit. Dog on the floor, not a survivor to slug due to the no Mither in Season 9 introduced by Team Calamity. Even more specific, Laser to counter the very greedy Billies, especially Xeno, for example. He's known to play a very aggressive Billy, slugging from the get-go. So Ward also with the difficult decision now. When can we go back towards the shack, keeping up Dog here? Now, of course, the timer with the no Mither is reset. So maybe you are able to catch someone here. Not sure though if it's a good calculation to constantly force yourself into the return to the shack if you want to get the hook stage done. Mind game needed across these jungle gyms. Not successful with that. But we have 2 injured survivors. So the pressure is there, the chance is there. But for getting some pressure done, these curves need to hit. So far a little bit unfortunate, but the M1 should be possible now. Will Karma be slugged? Would be a lot easier than the no Mither survivor. The answer is no, because we are having the next individual survivor hooked, getting the win condition number 3 a little bit done. No pain rest, that's important to remember later on, so a little bit of regression is saved. And Daimao, very unfortunate on this, well, we could say 50-50 pallet, deciding for the wrong one. Infinity losing the control a little bit.
Yep, Ward has definitely put the pressure on them, and 2 gens being worked on outside of the 3 that have already been completed. So they are getting that widespread progression, but Doc doing really well to get these downs and getting that first kill onto Daimo. Going to make the game that much harder for the survivors. And all of these pesky little objects getting in the way of the sword. That is what the Shattered Square offers you as Billy. Finds Karma here, one of the injured survivors, and is zoned away from Shack. That pallet was just broken. But Ops instead go for the gen over here in the corner. Realizes it might be being worked on, which it is. Wants to apply that eruption. Still has 2 stacks of pain res left to use. And yeah, just bouncing around these gens. And one does pop right there as he goes over by Serial. So really well played. And he is on this jungle gym. A really nice corner tech there to avoid the saw. You're going to continue to play this tile. The window does block. And wow, okay, so all 5 gens have popped on an absolute speedrun with these gens, despite Ward pressuring them quite a lot, Dyer.
Infinity smashing through once more under pressure, and then out of nowhere, final generator done, playing with, I don't know, 6-7 survivors in the trial, so they have time to be slugged on the floor, taking care of a team member in the basement, and at the same time getting all these generator done. Very, very nice to see that. Now is the question, is there any final chance possible here for Ward? Is he able to stop someone on the exit gate? Of course, he's taking a lot of rich and high risk right now, leaving the fresh hook survivor in the distance. So we can only hope, only really hope that he did some good calculation there, because only getting Karma would be okay. It's also 2 more hook stages, but it would be a lot more risky than just camping out Doc in the distance there. So let's hope that Ward is able to secure this, because so far this is not even guaranteed. Karma on the way, and here the hatch would count when we are somehow making it over there. But the answer is no, as we are taking a disgusting hit through the pallet. So Doc and Serial escaping. These 2 survivors are fresh and 1-time hooked so far. And therefore we are having 7 stages on 3 survivors. I feel like this is something that an Infinity killer could definitely get for his team as well. Definitely a win condition when you're hearing this. You're playing Billy and you need 8 stages, alternatively 7 stages on 4 survivors. You're not going to be scared. You're saying, yeah, this can kind of work out. So let's be quick as possible and see if Infinity can counter this, pushing us into set 6, or if Severance is ending it once and for all. We'll see you after the break.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Shattered Square. We have Doc for Team Infinity on the Billy, and he has forced a motion to adjust his gaming position, trying to make his way through the map to try and find that first chase. Now the stages to beat is 7 stages across 3 survivors, so 8 stages would be a win, or 7 stages across 4 survivors would be good. Already finding a very quick down. We see a different build. We see Blood Favor and Crowd Control in place, so very strong chase build here. Gonna do wonders for him. And getting these quick chases, which he saw there, just onto Hallows. Finds second chase onto Cartney. And really nice little stun there. See Undying there, finds it in the background, and Unhook just comes through, so he opts to go back to try and find the Unhooker. You can see Scratchbox leading the way into the lower map. Nicely done, and has found Hallows again, securing the tunnel out as early as possible. We do see Bruin in play as well. All that regression, able to apply that gen progression globally. You see a 4th gen pop and not able to hit this curve onto the main pallet. Does get dropped, and Hallows stops the whole W away from the loop. So well played, playing the tip really nicely, and buying a lot of time for his team to deny that Tomahawk. And just manages to get that vault across. And looks like Henry's going to come here for the hit, and no matter survivor, so cannot be slugged. And he knows that, so he's going to opt to hook here for the second survivor and second stage.
For the sake of mine and the staff's sleep schedule, Severance, speed it up, get yourself together. But of course, we also love when Infinity is making the comeback here. Going back towards this Spirit Halloween set would actually be kinda exciting, and especially having the ultimate decision there. It would be Infinity making a huge comeback across the entire best of 5. Hanu moving in, baiting out the DH hit. What a giga chat move here, wasting time from Doc, even though he's going down right after that, waving a little bit when going down, so immediately able to move. That's going to be the DS, and we have the pallet available for playing as well. Hanu applying as MVP here after taking the down for the team member, then DS into DH, all of it coming together and still not being down. This is the huge strike of Team Severance. Is this Hanu finding himself a place in the legendary archive of comp DBD moments? That is definitely the potential that is here right now. And now everything flying around Doc's head here. The hex totems, the generators, and if Severance is keeping this up, then they might be able to take this best of 5 for themselves. Good patience here by Cartney, waiting until Billy decided where to chainsaw and then dropping the pallet. Cartney not going down just yet. Difficult to dodge this one though, has not a lot to work with. So Doc also trying to pull back. It's a head-to-head fight that is going on here. 3 out of 7 stages taken so far. A lot more work to be done on both sides.
Yep, and you can hear the progression quite nicely. There's a gen close to this hook right here with a pretty good position, and a third one pops in the distance. So Severance moving with these gens, but as the Billy gets closer and closer with these stages, they're going to start to splat. The pressure's going to build up. Picking that gen and going over to check the... And you see, yeah, this gen's also quite fast. So Severance really, really moving. Just what we want. for them to take the win. And I believe that wins off the record, I'm not sure. Getting the BT hit. Oh, but really nice curve onto Hallows there, getting the down. Unhook coming through on the other side of the map, so they might be looking to get that fourth gen done. And it was the dead hard onto Hallows. Really nice, well done. Going across to this gen, trying to stop them on it. The gen does pop, and the last gen does pop. So it's 5 gens done. And so the pressure is really on Doc right now. Ward going to be found here, and this it's looking good for Severance, I would say.
Yeah, not if Ward is dying on Oak though, because then we're having 7 stages on 3 survivors, which would be a tie. So we would stay on the current result, go back to the Spirit, and I honestly don't understand at all why you would leave the hook there, because if you are getting the tie, then you can at least continue, and you are just leaving the survivor that is guaranteeing you that you are staying in this tournament, staying in this best of 5. You are having him on the hook, and you have nothing else to do but walking away. Not only losing this set, losing this trial, you're losing this entire tournament, ending the story of Infinity and AHL. With all due understanding for the nerfs, for the pressure that is on the teams, this was a very severe mistake that is going to cost Infinity the participation in this entire event. They just threw it away, Zach. I don't know, I'm a little bit stunned. It's so unfortunate.
Me too. I mean, Ward was the perfect survivor for him to find there when the gens just popped suddenly, and I mean, maybe trying to catch the survivor on the exit gate, I don't know, but maybe, yeah, like you say, nerves. I mean, this is high stakes, and if Doc doesn't look yeah, unfortunate, but congratulations to Severance for taking the win there. They showed their strengths and played really, really well, I have to say. I've been really impressed with the performance, especially from Ward, and Infinity on the comeback as well, just showing that they really, are here to stay. But yeah, I have to say I've been impressed by the games today. And what a result. And a way to end it.